Wonderful, thank you, Sarah. That was a great opener, and lots for us to kind of think about there, and lots for us to kind of reflect on as well. Thank you so much for that. I have multiple notes, but I'm also encouraged by the fact that we video recorded it as well, so we can get that one back. So, moving on, and I am aware, everyone, that we are running a little bit behind time just because of the issues with trains and things this morning, but we'll work hard to kind of keep the pace moving and as well this morning. So, so you can probably look at that agenda and throw it out, but we'll get through it all, don't worry, okay? So I'm now, again, a great pleasure for me to introduce our next speaker, who is Jane O'Donnell from COSLA, Head of Policy at COSLA, and appointed to that role in September 2018. And prior to this, she was the Chief Officer for Children and Young People at COSLA. On the children and young people, that's my day job, so very happy about that. Working in areas such as education, early years, child protection and youth employment. And so she joined COSLA in 2011 after working in various councils over 16 years, and she's also been involved in various voluntary roles for organisations supporting women and girls experiencing violence and driving equality through her lifetime. So she's a really keen member of the National Suicide Prevention Leadership Group, so playing a role on that. She's also a keen runner and reader, I'm assuming not at the same time, and lives with her 2 daughters in West Lothian. So please join me in welcoming Jane to give us the local perspective.
Hello everyone, it's lovely to be here. I suppose I wanted to say I'm here as a bit of a fangirl as well of you all, as well as a contributor today. So I'm hoping this is the start of a really useful discussion between ourselves and you in terms of how we have some policy coherence around gender and how we see the vision of local government and how that plays into that. So I suppose the first question would be, who is COSLA? And I just realised I don't have the clicker. There you go. My slides aren't verbatim. This is really just a backdrop while I'm having a chat with you. So a number of people in the room will know who we are, and apologies for those who are aware of us, but I know a lot of people have come up to me already and said, I don't really know who COSLA are, so I'm going to take a minute just to set that out for you. So we're the voice of local government in Scotland. We provide political leadership on all the national issues, and we work with councils to make sure that local services reflect those, and very importantly, it's all about local democracy and the political voice. So what does that mean on a day-to-day basis? It means we engage with Scottish Government, with our colleagues in UK Government and with the third sector and independent sectors. We campaign on issues, and you might see a lot of us responding in the media to certain things that come up. When we campaign and when we lobby, we are looking at it through the lens of a local government perspective, and I think that's something you may want to have a conversation with us about. We are here to lead reforms around the public service generally and local government specifically. I know I have colleagues from the trade unions in the room. They'll know us in terms of that we negotiate fair paying conditions for our employees across the country. And we're here to bring councils together. So all 32 councils are members of COSLA, and we bring them together on a cross-party basis. So I'm reflecting what Sarah said there about the political environment. Ours is slightly different in that we don't have one political party, we have them all. And in fact, within COSLA, and some of you may know this, we have a significant number of independent councillors, and they have quite an important voice in how we make our decisions. So this diagram up here shows you a sense of how we're organised. Obviously, there's 32 council leaders in Scotland, but we are the convention of Scottish local authorities, and convention is where we set our strategic direction. So twice a year, and in actual fact it's happening tomorrow in East Lothian, convention will come together, and that's a wide range of councillors right across the country, so all the way from Dumfries and Galloway right up to Shetland. All our city councillors come together and they set the strategic direction for officers then to take forward. Leaders, and you'll hear a lot about leaders in the media, we have 32 political leaders. They come together and they make the key political decisions for Scotland's councils, and that happens on a monthly basis. That's also where discussions and decisions around finance take place, and again I'm going to come to that later on. Within COSLA we have 4 policy boards: children, young people, health and social care, economy and environment, and community and well-being. So very general terms, a lot of the areas you're working in our boards will take care of that. And finally, we have special interest groups. And that's when COSLA Convention says, you know what, there's this area and we just need to put some more focus on it. So right now we have a special interest group on local governance, and that's looking at the local governance review that we're doing in partnership with Scottish Government. But we also have, very importantly, one now on equalities and diversity. And that's absolutely been led by our COSLA President Councillor Alison Evison. And hopefully you've had a chance to speak to her. If not, I would recommend you get a chance to speak to Alison. She's a real advocate for women in the public sphere. So that's who we are. Why is local government so important? Well, this is what I believe. As you heard, I've been working in local government since I was 24. It's over 20 years now. We are the sphere of government that are closest to communities. Our political decision makers don't have to travel hours and miles away to make decisions. They make decisions in their town halls and they make decisions with their community councils. We believe that that's absolutely vital. We believe in subsidiarity. That is the best way to make decisions. And obviously, you'll be aware of your councillors. Your councillors may sit on your health boards, your PTAs, your third sector boards, and hopefully they're able to provide some local influence and help you in your decision making. So, but we also deliver services that affect everybody. Nobody in this room has not received a service from their local authority. There's the universal, such as environment. There's the really bespoke stuff, which actually affects all of us, like education, but isn't actually delivered to all of us. We provide housing, we support the economy. So there's a whole range of services that we provide that's all about well-being. Our services are most used and valued by those who require extra support. And when people say, what does the council ever do for us? I'll often say, you're obviously in a very lucky position that you have to ask that question, because those who need services the most know what their council provide for them. In addition to that, we spend some figures, £19 billion a year is spent in local government across this country. We employ nearly 250,000 people, which is 10% of Scotland's working population. Decisions about policy areas without the local government voice is likely to fail. And I suppose that's the first thing I'll come on to. So this is how COSLA is set up. There's 4 of us in the senior management team. Sally is our chief executive, and there's 3 members of the senior management team. So I look after corporate, children, young people and health and social care. And I've got a few more wrinkles. I've also got Brexit most recently, so that's been fun. So I'm going to be challenging to COSLA. I know there's COSLA colleagues in the room. We had a discussion about what I was going to come here and speak to you about today, and I think we're here to say we're very open about, I'm going to suggest what we're doing right and what we're not doing right. But I think I'm also here to listen, and I'd welcome your thoughts. If we don't have time for questions, then please grab me. I'm here for the rest of the day. This is about what will make the NPF work. So yes, Sarah's pointed out, it's a superb policy framework, and I'm delighted that gender equality is an underpinning factor of each of the performance outcomes. But actually, what we often hear is about localism, and what you might say to me is, well, that sounds like a great policy, but in my local area this doesn't happen because, and that's where the interesting discussion comes about policy coherence. If policy decisions are made at a national level, and I suppose I'm speaking to you as a national council, but you don't take account of what localism and what local people might require as variety within those policy decisions, it's likely to fail. And some of the key discussions we have on an ongoing basis with colleagues in Scottish Government, UK Government and the third sector is where we've had to say, yes, but that just doesn't work in rural areas like Dumfries and Galloway or Aberdeenshire. It just doesn't work when you're talking about the inner city of Glasgow. So we're hopefully here to help decisions that they work better. I think also want to say about local government is it's about who's making the decisions. And I was reflecting what Sarah said about agency. And I was just typing this out when I was listening to you, Sarah. Do we have the agency to actually influence things? And it's about, I think, who our decision makers are. And I know you know that. Only 29% of local government elected members are female. Of those, we have 8 leaders out of 32. So when I'm talking about the people who are coming together at COSLA to make key policy decisions and financial decisions, a quarter of those are women. Slightly better in officer terms, 16 of the 32 local authority chief execs are female. About 60% of our overall workforce is female. So we influence and we are the people delivering the services, but when the key decision makers don't reflect the populations and the local communities, then I think we have a challenge, and that's something we're getting to grips with at COSLA. What I also want to talk about here is silo working in terms of the NPF. So I think, and this is something I would say of government, I'd say of COSLA, I'd say of other colleagues working nationally, is we can get quite focused in our silos. So you saw the different areas that we all represent, and I can get pulled right into children, young people and health and social care. They're generally policies around people, so I tend to have, I hope, challenge myself to make sure I've got a gender focus on these areas. But actual fact, how often am I sitting down with my other colleagues in communities or in the environment to make sure that we're being really clear that there is no silo working and that people receive all our services. The other challenge I have around the NPF is about austerity. And with the COSLA position on austerity is well rehearsed, and it is probably not appropriate to go into in detail here, but the impact of austerity, the impact has been felt in communities, and it's been felt by the people who require our services the most. And actually, when we're talking about the NPF, what I think we're not doing as a system is we're not looking at how we're financing NPF. Because when austerity bites, and we've had some really good challenge recently on this, local authorities, Scottish Government, other agencies, we start to cut down the good stuff we've been doing, the stuff that's not essential. And I'm aware that we're all responsible for that, as we can be. This is collective responsibility here. But actually, I would expect you would challenge us on that, actually. If these are our performance frameworks and gender equality underpins all of this, how are we thinking about the impact of austerity? How do we prioritise any of these performance outcomes, one over the other? We know we can't deliver it all, and then we have this piecemeal approach where things fall off, and women and girls specifically are going to start to be affected. The other thing I'd like to get your views on is universality versus a targeted approach. So right across the country, I think we identify the impact of economic inequality and poverty. Are we looking at that through a gendered lens as well? Do we understand that women and girls are fundamentally being much more disadvantaged by poverty? And when we're looking at universal approaches, so I would say a really good one is the access to sanitary protection. We've rolled that out. That's really good. It started in schools and colleges. It's moving into community areas, so you should start to see it in your community centres, your libraries, your council offices, if you haven't already. That's all good. Is it targeting young women and women who are living in poverty, or are we just this little piecemeal bundle of approach and we're not actually dealing with the wider aspect of poverty? That's a challenge that's given to me quite often, and it's something I'm very reflective of. I don't have the answers. No one, I think, should stand up here and say they have all the answers. I think I'd like to hear your views on that. So I want to talk about some things that are going really well. I thought I'm going to set out what we're coming here with a very open perspective at COSLA, that we know we're not great. Some things are going really well. So the Equally Safe at Work pilot is a really good piece of work led by Close the Gap. Scottish Government have funded it. We've got 7 local authorities are going through the pilot, 14 wanted to be on it, so there's a shadow process ongoing, and this means that local authorities and employers will get really good advice and guidance on how we support women who are experiencing gender-based violence. We've got Safe and Together, so we've got our children's services colleagues coming together with our gender-based violence colleagues to make sure that we're keeping women and children together as they escape and move forward to a better quality of life. I've put employment up there, and I was speaking to our colleague here from the STUC, and there's a bit of both here. We had the Fair Work Commission, which was really good, really positive, and a lot of us working in the public sector would say, we've got that right, aren't we great? Look, we've got good flexibility, good pension rights, and all that's true, and it was hard won, so respect to our colleagues who have managed to do that. But also, on my other hand, I think we've still got pay gap. We've still got colleagues who say they're not getting equal pay for equal work. So that's an area that I'd be interested in your views on. As I said, we do employ 10% of the working population in Scotland, so have a chat with us about our role as employers. Things that aren't going so well that I think could be better, and again, this is some thoughts from colleagues as well. We've got violence against women and girls partnerships, which is great, a key vehicle to channel our work around that, but alignment with other partnerships, like community planning partnerships, isn't really it's limited, and therefore, as a result, the violence against women partnerships have limited influence as a result. So I think around policy coherence, it's about making sure that our partnerships recognise the value of other things. Community planning partners are looking at economic inequalities, but as I said before, I'm not convinced they've got a gendered lens. So I think we're missing gaps there in terms of economic. And then there's big drive right now to public health. We're all signed up to public health. It's about prevention, it's about early intervention, about improving people's lives. But actually, there's a whole part of gender-based violence or inequalities that isn't part of the public health debate, and I'd like to see that come forward just as an officer who's involved in public health. So I think for us, that's... And then finally, I want to talk about the barriers to elected office. Councillor Evison has had a number of events, one held last year, where we invited colleagues right across the country, this is councillors, to COSLA to tell us why they find it difficult to be a female councillor, what the barriers are, and why they know of people, and they all did, who really wanted to be a councillor but couldn't because they thought it was an impact on women. I've got a number of colleagues here today who were at that event. So we're still having issues where, and this is us as councils, we're holding late meetings, and then those colleagues who are councillors in rural areas will say, well, you know, I finished my job because it's not a well-remunerated job to be a local elected member. I make my way 2 hours to a council meeting, I'm there for 2 or 3 hours, I make my way back. That's really hard to do if you have caring responsibilities, and therefore we're losing a lot of women in that way. And also, we're not really valuing the role of the local elected member. A lot of councillors come together and they want to believe they're making the right decisions for their communities, but often other policy priorities will sort of override that, and it doesn't seem like a very valued role. So we're trying really hard, and we're working with colleagues in government and in the third sector and in the trade unions actually, to say we need more women speaking up. I, as a COSLA officer, want to hear more women speaking at my leaders' meeting and my convention meeting. I really want to hear those voices. But I can't solve that on my own. We can't as an organisation, actually. I think there's a really key role for you to advise us on how we help women get into these roles. So a few colleagues in COSLA thought, well, what do we want in terms of working with you? So I thought, generally, we know we want to work in partnership with you, with Scottish Government and the third sector. It's really important that we can include the third sector in this. And it's around the budget setting, because that's the sticky, messy stuff. We can have lots of warm words about policy and say we're going to commit to it, but until you put money in and until you put frameworks around that will deliver upon it, it won't happen. So that's where we need to get to. I think we need a joint approach to the gendered lens around policy, and that's not just for COSLA and Scottish Government and other colleagues in policy, that's for everybody else in terms of challenging us, which I think Sarah said is a really valuable contribution there. Please challenge us. And also that our decision makers are challenging us on that. Support for women to make it to elected office, and then reflecting that we know our equalities duties aren't working particularly well right now, and we're really calling for a review of those, and actually it's about the support for all public bodies to do something more meaningful then. Again, nobody just wants an exercise that leads to more warm words. We want real commitment, real financial implications considered there, and I would always say, let's remember how things are delivered locally. So I suppose I'm just going to summarise by saying it's been a really useful opportunity to come speak to you about COSLA. Hopefully you know a little bit more about us. I am here for the rest of the day, and it is a conversation I want to have with all of you. But also COSLA political decision makers want to be having this conversation with you as well. So I hope it's not the only time I'm here to speak with you. Hopefully one of our elected members can come along. Some of you may be in the audience who have representative experience. Please get involved with us, and we are absolutely open to this, and hopefully we can do things a little bit better than we have done up till now. Thank you.